Audio. Audio.
I got you. Hi,
Okay.
hi,
Yeah.
hi, hi. Liberian people, welcome to the Melting Pot. Thank you for joining us. Please share this show. The Melting Pot is a broadcast of the Liberia Sustainable Development Think Tank. This is where we come to discuss issues strengthening Liberia. And we bring forth idea, commentary, and opinions and recommendations for Liberia. And if the leaders in Liberia can hear us and listen, and then we can make some improvement in our country. This is when everyone's voice in our democracy matters. So tonight I'm your regular host, the Reverend Clarence R. Pearson, and I have with me my co-host.
Thomas Johnson, come to you from New York City.
Well,
It's indeed
from the
a
Big
pleasure to
Apple,
be here again.
from the Big Apple.
Right,
Nice,
right.
nice to have you. Mr. Johnson. Look, Tom. There's a lot going on in Liberia. So much to talk about today. So much to talk about today.
Absolutely. And we have our eyes on the world. The world is now connected by information. Information is not flowing one way. And so, as people of Liberian descent in the diaspora, we want to get our voices heard in Liberia and render our opinion on upholding drama in the legislature and other aspects of the Liberian government's operations.
Perfect. So just to ease the ground as we get started in our conversation tonight, I want us to just share this little joke. It may seem a joke, but it's a little serious. We all know that the president went to the UL campus today, and one of the things that happened there, besides the president trying to speak to Liberians when it comes to the launching of the PhD program in Liberia, the first PhD program in Liberia. Thomas, this is what we saw. We saw that the LMP after they went and they ran behind the Student Unification Party students that were protesting against the presidents being there because of neglect of the university. And then these guys, the riot police that have been training over the past couple of days, they went there to push off these students. But interestingly, after they got through the operation, when they were about to leave, they turned to push and start. They had to push the car before they can get out of there. What do you make of that?
I
Like
think that's very comical. You know, law enforcement not equipped with the uh, best logistics. The truck. If the students had had ill will, they could have overrun them at that
right,
point because they were chasing the students out of the campus, not disrupting, not for them to disrupt anything. But now they see how vulnerable they are.
right,
Their vehicles cannot even work. So I think the need for them to pay attention to make sure that the equipment they have function properly is paramount. But indeed, it is very, very troubling. It's comical as well.
right.
Yeah.
But and this is the thing, right? This is the thing about our own country back home in Liberia. The thing is so sad. Please share the show. Thank you for coming on. Please share the show. You can also share your views and we'll highlight it. These are the very people who escort those convoys of expensive vehicles. These are the people who drive in front of the very expensive vehicles for legislators and the president and others and big government officials, but they themselves do not have a vehicle to carry on their operation. And it is sad also because these are the people who are the front line protection for the VIPs in the country. And then they go and they agitate with the crowd, and the crowd gets to hit them for the job they do. And then the bishops drive away, and then the police got to push their car before they can stop, before they themselves can leave. It's sad.
Yeah, you know, what has happened to the psyche of the individual that have been oppressed a long time, he takes that as normalcy. And
Right,
so he will tend to protect his oppressor. It's like a slave that did not want to be liberated. You know, the guy said, "You go, think by yourself, do things on your own." But he returns to his oppressor, wanting to be a part of his oppressor, and he will even put his life on the line to protect the oppressor. So they are not thinking, folks. They are satisfied with what they have as long as the bosses that give them peanuts, you know, are in top shape. So it's sad. It's very sad. It's something that goes to the psyche of the people.
So
You
this is
know?
the melting pot where we discuss trending issues in Liberia, provide analysis, opinion, recommendations. So Tom, what do we say to Grace? What the guy named Great? What his name again? The police director, RG. Gregory Coleman. What can we say to Gregory Coleman concerning the police in this case?
I think Mr. Coleman should not be complacent. He should not be satisfied because he puts himself out there as someone very important. Let him look after the welfare of the folks that he is working with. Let him make sure that they have the best equipment, that they have the benefits are good, that it is a force that functions well, but it is not a governmental force, but it is there to protect the interest of the citizenry, right? He must be mindful of that. But what I see happening is that these people, these institutions that are supposed to be protective of the citizenry, rather look after a few group of people that are in power. So
Right.
Gregory should recalibrate, advocate for more equipment, more funding of the police force, and decentralize the force. Because as we see it now, everything is centered in one place, Monrovia. Beyond Monrovia, hey, you don't see them anyplace else.
Tom, look, I'm a big supporter of the student movement at University of Liberia. All right, we've been there before. We've been there. We've been under the Palava Hut and everything. Why should I even be advocating for the police when they are the one who brutalizing my comrades, my student unification party SAU, kind of comrades who are trying to ensure that there's a conscience, good conscience in the government, and they are brutalizing them. Why should I be advocating for the police to get proper vehicle that they don't have to do push and start as after they finish beating up my own student movement comrade? So why should I even advocate for them? So should the police be more do more of their actual job to serve and protect, or they should just be there to protect VIP who robbing the country? So why should I promote them?
I think the police should be re-educated to understand that there are forces that are supposed to be protecting the citizens, not only a segment of the population. They should be friendly to students groups. There should be community policing, making sure that the communities function well, there's no crime and so forth. So for now, their focus has been protecting people in power and leaving the citizens out. There are people that are supposed to be protecting the well-being of the citizens, and that includes the student population. No, I was not a member of the Student Unification Party at the time I was at the university. In fact, I was one of those among the group that defeated the Student Unification Party with the Kwame Clement group. But Sue really play a significant role in conscientizing people, in advocating for the rights of students, and beyond that, the rights of the ordinary citizens of the country. So the police should be in a place to protect the rights of the students as well, instead of beating on the student and chase. They should listen to what the students are saying, and they should really, unless you listen to what the students are saying, you keep a blind ear or a closed ear, you will not do that which is ethical. All right. They have been a force of coercion against the citizen that is supposed to be protecting. So education of the police has to be broad enough. That awareness that you exist to protect the citizens, not a particular government institution. It has to be driven into the ears. So their re-education should include whatever curriculum they are using. It should include the fact that, look, you are employed to protect the citizens, right, from harm.
All right, you are employed to protect the citizens from harm. So that takes us to our first topic for tonight. That one was just a teaser to get us into the mood. But the House of Representatives, of course, the entire since last week to now has been the place of drama, especially the House of Representatives of Liberia's 55th legislature. Now, what we saw just on Tuesday, the House presided over by Jay Fanari Kofa, who had just returned to the country from and escaped on what they call a coup d'etat, and held his regular session, but did not get a quorum. And because he did not get a quorum, the body decided that they will compel the data resolution that was put on the floor by Representative Musa Hassan Berete from Nima County to compel the rest of the other absentee members who complained to be in majority, and so they want the speaker out to attend section. So I mean, so what do we make of that? What could be our conversation? But it is important to stress, though, that the Constitution does provide some provisions that we need to be mindful of as we have the discussion. And let me post Article 33 of the Constitution up. Article 33 of the Liberia Constitution, 1986 Constitution, and let's see what it reads. 1986 Constitution. So it says that a simple majority of each house, meaning the Senate and the House of Representatives, shall constitute a quorum, a simple majority, which of course for 73 people, that will be between, some people believe 36 to 37 people. So 37 people will make up a quorum, which is the simple majority for their transaction of business. But a lower number, which means if they don't meet the quorum in the lower house, that number may adjourn, and that is an important part, may adjourn from day to day and compel the attendance of the absent members whenever the House of Representatives and the Senate shall meet in joint session. The presiding officer of the House of Representatives shall preside. So the first sentence and maybe the first sentence and the second phrase is our point of emphasis, that the simple majority can go into section, and if they don't have the quorum, in that case, if they went and they don't have a quorum, not a simple majority, which is 37 votes, then they can adjourn, but then they have the power to compel the remaining guys to come to work. And it doesn't say what are the limitations. It says from day to day, they may adjourn from day to day until they compel the other people. So what do we say when the guys who say they are 42 now, even though they do not meet the 2/3, and I'm going to put that up again just so we lay the foundation for our followers. So if they say they have a problem with the speaker and they want the speaker to move, the speaker can still be sitting down from day to day. The speaker can still be sitting down from day to day and adjoining session while trying to get the rest of them to come to section. But at the same time, the House has its own rules, and I'm trying to find that quickly. The House has its own rules where the House rule says that if you have a problem with the speaker and you want to remove the speaker, in our read, you need 2/3 majority. So the House rule number 9.1 says, the speaker, deputy speaker, and other officers of the House shall be removed from office for cause by a resolution of 2/3. Let me move our logo so we can see this 2/3 clearly before some people they didn't see they can see it. 2/3. Let me see if I can move that logo. Can I move it? There we go. All right, we can see it.
Correct.
Yeah, by 2/3 majority of the number of the House. So 2/3 majority is 49. So the guys do not have the 2/3, the 49. They are around 40 to 38. Some people believe between 38 to 42. But they say since they're still in majority, they don't want to go to work and they want the speaker to resign. And the speaker is saying, based on our rules and based on the Constitution, even though we don't have the majority as the official House doing business, we can adjourn from day to day and we can compel you to come to work. So what do you say? What do you say? Based on the Constitution and the laws as it is before us, what can we advise them? I think all of this is premised on the fact that Edwin Snow and Former Speaker Edwin Snow and former Speaker Tyler was forced to resign based on the same maneuvering. They bypassed the constitution, bypassed the rule, but then they said that they didn't have the majority for the guys to function, and nothing was happening, so the guys ended up resigning. Should Speaker Tyler resign? Or does he have the power to force the guys to come to work? I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Yeah, the first thing I like to say in human operations and institutions, the guiding principles of operations are the ethical basis of a people being together, of operating our rules and regulations.
Right.
Because human beings have the tendency to violate other people's right and do things not acceptable to the general population. Therefore, we have rules and regulations. Once we operate under those rules and regulations, most time we do not err because rules bring order, it avoids chaos, it avoids human beings acting capriciously. So the House does have the Constitution and they have the House rules. Those are the basis of decision making. Anything outside of that is unacceptable, must be thrown out. You clearly indicated that the procedures here for removing a speaker or any person for that matter for cause has to be done under the rules and the Constitution. You may have the majority, 40 persons, but how do you prove and how do you come to a decision? That decision has to be arrived at under established rules. That is, you present your case before the session, the area identified as the legitimate place to operate, that is in the chambers before, under the gavel of the leader who is the speaker, in his absence, the deputy speaker. So that's why you bring your grievance and you put your grievance before the whole body. You cannot avoid that area and then establish quasi. That would be tantamount to breaking the laws or would be tantamount to coup d'etat. So if you do have the majority, come in the chambers, present your case, let it be debated. All right? We've listened to the speaker making his case, and he's saying, well, I'm not going to leave until you come in the chambers, and if you prove that you have 49 votes, then I will not object. So the challenge is for them now, those regarded as quote unquote the majority black, which of course we're not in a parliamentary system, they must come in the chambers and present the case. The reason the minority or the need a quorum was that, I mean, from the American experience, it was during the war where some folks had to, before the war, they left, and major decisions that had to be made were not made, so they had to be compelled to come to make decisions as to whether to agree to a war situation. And if they did not come, then of course the presiding had the right to compel them. That's why you have the sergeant of arms dispatched to go to their homes, wherever they were, or sent letters, or even arrest them to come to sessions. Okay, so it is in the right of the presiding, who now is the speaker. When they meet and they do not have a quorum, the first time they meet again, they do not have a quorum, he can dispatch the sergeant at arms or authorize him to go and compel the renegades to come to work, right? You can't go to work in a different place. You have to come to work the place that is identified as your working place. You have to come there. Failure to do that, you could be fined or you could be arrested and persecuted. If you do not come to work, if you do not answer to the call, you may be absent. And if you're absent, you forfeit your salary. So it is my hope that these gentlemen or these honorable men would adhere to the rule of law and not do anything outside the established rules. That's my take on it.
So there is this there is this argument for those of us who are in Liberia during Edwin Snow time. There is this argument that Article 33 that we see on the screen right now. The argument is that day to day, the minority in that chamber that don't have the quorum to make a decision, that should be meeting day to day, as long as those guys do not allow them to get the quorum to make any decision, they will delay the work, which means the speaker and the guys can do nothing. Right. So maybe they'll be dodging, the compelling them to come. And in their mind, they can politically do that and paralyze the House of Representatives, and by doing that, force the speaker to resign. Because the people will agitated, they will say, listen, the national budgets will be coming to the House of Representatives so we can go through the budget. We cannot go through the budget because the speaker doesn't have relationship with his friends, and his friends are outside. So for the country to go forward, Liberia first, let the speaker resign so we can go ahead of our country. But Speaker Kofi is saying he's not going anywhere. So should the political maneuvering be allowed to have precedence over the Constitution, and we just do what we call let bygone be bygone? What you think about that as well?
No, I think a country based on maneuvering of a people outside the established constitutional means goes down a slippery slope. Do we say we use political maneuvering to get your ends meet and to help with the Constitution? Outside the Constitution, we go into chaos. All right. To my mind, right now, maneuvering is happening on both sides. The presidency is also, though they are not supposed to interfere, but to my mind, they have backdoors operation. Would it be in the interest of the president to see chaos continuously in the House of Representatives? If he takes a hands-off attitude, then of course the budget will be delayed, because Kofi could stay on, asserting his legitimacy, since they do not have this 49% to remove him. He still is the legitimate leader. So what I heard him saying is that he's open to discussion. And to my mind, discussions are going on for the common good of the country, not for the Black's interest, but for the common good of the country. So there might be a stalemate, but I think there are rational people in the House that are currently negotiating and bargaining. He did not rule up bargaining. He did not rule up apologizing for things that may have gone wrong. But that both parties should exercise open minds to consider the interests of the country.
All right.
That should be the first and foremost. Yes.
Right. This is an uncharted territory when it comes to what the resolution that was put on the floor by Musa Hassan representability and passed by the minority, and it says they are going to compel the absent members to attend towards this tomorrow's section. My question: this is uncharted territory, meaning we have never had a situation where we try to go this far with such a thing. You know, Edwin Snow had a whole speaker chair removed from where he was sitting in 2007 by the sergeant at arms and carried to where the running gate guys were, who did not even have the votes to remove him. Speaker Tyler had himself totally barraged and paralyzed. He couldn't even function, but he could not even execute this compel absent members. So what, I can even think about what would that look like? You know, what would that look like? I heard you mention things like we probably could arrest them, or probably we could, you know, if they don't come to work, they don't get paid. But this is uncharted territory. What are we going to see tomorrow, or what are we going to see the next 2 weeks from now with this standoff and compelling these guys? What will make these guys be compelled? And Jeff not saying it, but what will compel them?
Well, I I was told I wasn't quite knowledgeable about Mr. Snow's case and Tyler's, but I understand that Mr. Snow was an independent, so he did not have a constituencies as large as the current speaker.
Right.
And Mr. Tyler is, I read that he was guilty of something that could be proven beyond reasonable doubt. All right. But in the case of the current speaker, uh, the, 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 the issues that have been cited in the resolutions have not been proven. Right. So the cost, what is the cost? What is the purpose for which you want this man removed? Is this cause convincing enough to the general population that they will galvanize against him? All right. So this is a different scenario. All right. So the comparison to Snow and Tyler may not be applicable here. And there are some that argue that with those two people, there were some violations in place and so forth. And this is a different case. This gentleman is saying, I'm not going to leave. I have my constitutional right. All right. Unless I have a hearing, unless things are done properly, I'm not leaving. And he has a backing. Right. The 33 persons he has, or the 30 person he has, could come to session all the time. All right. They are the legitimate group. The courts could be reverted to. So if the stalemate continues, the Supreme Court could be the interpreter, could be the one to make the final decision. But
yes. So there is a precedence with the case of Edwin Snow. Edwin Snow and his minority did go to court. Okay. And what the Supreme Court ruled at the time, and it's a precedence, they got it there, was that the guys who were sitting outside of the official function were illegal.
Okay.
They were considered illegal. But the courts could not enforce their ruling to say they must go to work.
Okay.
You know, like okay, yeah, I agree that these guys are interpreting your rules and interpreting the Constitution, that they are illegal. They are illegally sitting where they are sitting. They shouldn't be there. They should actually go to work. That's why your rules and the Constitution provides for. But then the guys could not implement, like Fonati is trying to say here. He just didn't know how to compel them. So I'm thinking, what do we see the next couple of days from now, beginning tomorrow, and then how do they compel them? What can the National Police? In fact, what I just saw on Tuesday, the Renegades group, where they who went and got police and brought the police to the Capitol building. It was not the original, the official sex.
And so we are reverting to the system of might make right.
Right.
And not utilizing the laws to effect things. The stronger person that exercises his muscle gets away. We want to do away with this. The causes that were lifted in the accusation, the document, they were on both sides. Bribery, for instance, and an investigation is going on. An investigation that is against the renegade group, saying they received bribes. Okay, so if that case is proven that they did receive bribe, then they will be on the defensive, because it is illegal to operate under the cloud of bribery, which is punishable by I think 5 years in prison once convicted. All right, then this is where now the international group comes in, our big brother, who has the gavel of sanction. All right. I know they are silent about it, but it is a negative connotation to be advocating for the removal of a speaker whom you accuse of being unethical when you, at the same time, is guilty of bribery. So that aspect could be something that will scare some people to back away. I don't know whether the speaker is playing that card, saying this is the evidence against you, so you're not operating legitimately. If you persist in staying away, I'm going to bring this, I'm going to present it. And that could induce compliance for folks returning to work.
Well, there are some who believe, they say they also have died on the speaker, so everybody got died on them. So the speaker don't want to go that way. Another theory is that the speaker don't want to further agitate the situation, further cause a more drifting away from him by more of the other guys. So he playing calm on the issue of the bribery, looking to the LACC to do its work. And because if it is already being acted upon by the LACC, there's no need for him to push them away further from his cause by trying to further push them in that direction, with the hope that the LACC will come up with their complaints or with the investigation. But that takes us to the next point. The next point, and I want to ask this question as we move to the next point. I want to ask this question. The guys who are in the wrong session, in the wrong hall, as they were saying, sitting in the wrong spot, they are saying that they passed a resolution that the deputy speaker, who we just saw sitting with the speaker proper in the rear section, should leave the actual section and come and preside over them in the illegal session. How does that work? How does that work?
We cannot use illegality to enforce our will. The speaker indicated on Spoon that he and the deputy speaker are on one page. So, to my mind, the deputy speaker would not be a part of the coup d'etat, right? Because though they are in the majority in terms of number, but they are staging what appears to be a coup d'etat. You have an existing speaker who has not been removed yet. If the speaker had been removed, or if the vote had been taken and 49 members made a resolution to remove him, and he's still being recalcitrant, then you could say, Deputy Speaker, come and preside over us. But the Deputy Speaker cannot preside when the Speaker is physically present,
right,
and still occupies the office. So it's unlikely that the Deputy Speaker would do that.
Right. So the question now will be, what action can they take against the deputy speaker? If they're threatening him that if the deputy speaker doesn't show up, they will take further action. So what can they do to him? You think, do we have any legal grounds for which that they would do anything to the deputy speaker whatsoever?
I see no legal ground yet, though I'm not a lawyer, but they have not proven their legality as a body yet.
Right.
So that whatever action is taken falls short of any legal arguments and so forth.
Right.
So what can they do? I mean, they are not legitimate yet. So it's a slippery slope and it's uncharted territory. So it will be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. But I don't see the legal ground of their operation. They may have the numbers, but they're not elected yet to exercise the kinds of powers they want to.
So what do you imagine will happen tomorrow? You think if these two sections do preside again tomorrow, a speaker could find a deputy speaker stays where they are, scenario one, and this illegal group who another section outside, Sergeant, I'm trying to bring them into the rear section. What do we hope to see tomorrow?
There'll be drama tomorrow, but to my mind, even while we speak, there may be movements on the way, because unlike where you had in the past, we have ex-presidents that control parties. Like you have the ex-president of the CDC, and there are some seditions on the other side. You have Mr. Boakai, though officially he's not supposed to be interfering in legislative matters. But these are cooler heads that may be talking, because we do not want chaos in the country, right? So it is my hope that these people are talking to the various players to bring about amicable solution. And the citizens have a role to play as well. I heard one woman saying, look, we're going to revert to what happened during the negotiations in Ghana, where the women came and had the doors closed and said, you guys are not going anyplace until you resolve this issue. And they pushed them. So the citizens also have a role to play. Are the citizens going to back up and just watch, or are they going to assert their own influence upon these people to bring about cooler heads?
Good points. Good points. Or another scenario could be they could gather their 49 votes, manage to get that Super 7. They will not call in the Super 7 because they say they got 42. According to them, they say they got 42 votes.
Right.
And then Kofa and his group got 30. If they get 7 votes, it's 37. They can do normal business. And you say if anything will happen between now and tomorrow, numbers could shift. And then Kofa we probably might be surprised. Kofa may go to work tomorrow, and he has 37 people sitting in front of him, and then he can do business as usual.
Right.
The guys will go in the illegal setting and notice that they got 49. The special 7 just appear, and they get 49, and then they say that walk in the actual session, that walk in the official session, and put this thing on the table once and for all.
Absolutely.
Either of those two will be good news for us, correct?
It will be, and the citizens have here in this country we call our representatives on issues and advise them, hey, this is how we feel as a pressure group. The vote that is going to be taken, we want you to vote this way. So now the Liberian citizens they pick up the phones and lobby the Congress people. Maybe what their representatives are doing, the sides they are taking, they may not be in agreement. So now you have the option, you Liberian people, to call your representatives and tell them how you feel about what's going on. Okay? Maybe your opinion will count, and that representative could change his mind or her mind. So we must all be involved in what's taking place.
That is why we have the melting pot. Liberia is getting broader, and our conversation on body politics is getting fuller, where people, no matter where you are in the world, in Liberia, in the villages, in the towns, like Thomas is saying, you have the opportunity to walk to your senator, your representative house tonight and say, listen, I hear tomorrow something coming happen, but I want for you to do the right thing, and this is what I want you to do. This is what we think you can do. And let the people get involved. Let the people be the one that telling their representatives how the direction. That was excellent recommendation. And I would say, I would add to that to say, listen, if you guys feel you got the numbers, you cannot go into informal, illegal setting that the Constitution does not support, but you want to do political maneuvering and think you can effectuate your right as a congressman. That is not going to work for you. The reason why you became a representative and you became a representative today, when you got your certificate for NEC, you went to the very official body. That's where you submitted your certificate. And that was the official body that received your certificate and adapted you into the body. So if you want to carry on your function, you have to be in the very body that inducted you into office in there. And then there where you sat also to elect your speaker, the formal body protected by the Constitution. So go back to that formal body. If you have the 49 votes, then put your 49 votes on the table and make your case. And according to what we are hearing, Speaker Kofa is saying, if you provide the 49 votes and it can be proven and testified to, he's willing to step down, you can proceed with your process of removing him. Other than that, you cannot be 40, 39, 42, 46, 47, or even 48 and think you can stop the Liberian people work from going on because you say you have majority. That is not what majority means in legislative politics. So we'll move on to our next topic, if you don't mind. Unless you got a final word to say on this before we move on.
You know, that was an excellent way of summarizing the core points, and I hope they're listening to what you said. If you have the 49 votes go in the chambers, the official place of operation, and exercise your rights there. And the speaker have said that once you produce that 49, he's willing to leave. But anything short of that, he remains the speaker. Thank you.
So Kalaba, who is commenting here. Yeah, he's commenting here. And he says he's from Grand Jide, and he's saying following from Grand Jide, and he says this: we Grand Jidians are already against Honorable Jeremiah Sokin for betraying the struggle and failed to listen to us. So people have already started having issues with the lawmakers. And, you know,
that's excellent. They should continue. Let them bombard him with calls and really say what they mean, what they would do if he persists in charting the course he's on now. So the citizen pressure counts. It may sway the vote. So let them persist. Let them articulate their grievances. Let them say to their representatives the way they feel about things. That will make an impact.
Right, that will make an impact, even though it is said our politicians don't pay attention until election day. Don't pay attention.
Yeah, now the Liberian citizens are being informed, properly informed. They're getting the political education from various platforms, so they cannot remain docile. They can push the politicians to change course.
Right.
This is a new day.
New day. So what we discuss is legislative politics. It is said that the U.S. just issued a statement, and it said that the U.S. embassy says they have no hand in the speaker's stuff, and I mean they trust that our government and the legislature can handle that problem by themselves. Is it true that you think they don't have any hand in this thing? I mean, not negatively, but are they not in any way involved in the behind the scene?
Well, that's an official position of the American government, the American embassy. But what I know is that whatever happens in Liberia, the American people know about it. They're aware. They have their tentacles all over. Interestingly, Clarence, my last year at the University of Liberia, I was recommended by the English department to work at the USIS library where the American government had a setup. This was like a CIA place. What I observed was that every piece of paper produced in Liberia was read. All right, all the newspapers, they got copies of everything. And if you were at a desk and you left something, you wrote something at your desk, they'll come and read it. So that's the extent of their awareness and involvement in what's going on in Liberia. The changes of government officials, like you had during the PRC time, you have Famula, then Famula was changed, and someone else, Isma, was brought in, the Ramsey and so forth. Those things were engineered from those locations. So they may give an official statement that in fact this is an internal issue, we're not involved. Their interest is involved, and so covertly they may be doing things to influence what happened. Okay. And my role was
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, lay your thought.
My role was to read you know, the CBS News, NBC, CNN had not started then. All the major networks, the news they produce, those things were sent to Liberia in rails and produced on stencils. So I would sit and go through the stencils and proofread and correct, and then they would be printed out and disseminated amongst the newspapers. So from that perspective, I saw certain operations happening. I was able to discern the extent of the involvement in the Liberian body politics. Okay, so I take the statement as a face value. That's the official position, but I don't think they will stand by to see things descend in a way that will be uncontrollable.
I was about to say, if I don't remember anything from former President George Manuel Weah administration, one of the things I remember so vividly is the American ambassador McCarthy playing basketball with George Weah.
Right.
On the court, and then they're taking pictures and saying, "Oh, the Americans are happy with us. The American ambassador, they're happy with us." But at the same time, sanction was being imposed on his officials, and not just his officials, but the top officials of his government that totally cripple his administration going forward. So you could be right. They might be saying diplomatically, and having a front, but then in the back they're doing something. And don't forget, another thing that comes to mind is that this guy McCarthy was also visiting with George Weah. They were playing sports every Saturday thing. But this guy went to the village and came back and said everything that he could say nasty about government, about the George Weah administration.
Absolutely. I mean, they go there to eyeball what's going on to get qualitative data. All right. And they operate on the data they have. If I want data from you, I have to be friendly to have access to you. Right. But my motivation will be I want certain information, and this information must be credible. All right. So wherever they go throughout the country, they gather all the information they need. And that is why I mentioned that those that are in the majority Black, the allegation of bribery must be taken seriously. Because if it is proven, that would be the basis of sanctions. Pay to play. And that's true.
Right. So, and speaking about sanction, one of the most brutal sanction we ever saw, from the Prince Johnson to the how you call this guy, former UP chairman Vanny Sherman and others, one of the most brutal sanctions was against Samuel Twain, former finance minister, who down to his children that held U.S. passport was banned from the United States of America.
Right.
Citizens, his kids were citizens of the United States of America, and they were deported. And that was one of the things that broke Samuel Twain down. He literally cried about that. And now we see a lot of these politicians have, soon as they start getting money, other than got connections here. They got houses they buying here now. They got their families here, their children, some of their children going to school and things. Some of them got their wives here. Some of them came from here, even going there to work in government. So they got much to lose. So why would they be taking the kind of risks?
Well, that's the human tragic flaw. That which will make you fall, you are oblivious of it. All right. Even though you know that you don't care, but it's part of you. It's your Achilles heel. Okay. Now we have seen a pattern that is happening in the House. Mr. Yeke Koluba talked about receiving a certain amount of money before this incident.
Right.
For furniture, that could be noted.
Right.
All right. There was bribery. Where is this money coming from? Out of budget spending is another thing. Now, using bribery to remove a speaker, that's another thing. So you have to catalog all of these things to establish a pattern. And if the evidence is there, you have a basis.
If I can just add, before the coupon stuff came up, you recall that there were a back and forth with legislature representative thing that they said that the president invited them to the house and gave them money.
Correct.
And they were on videos, they were on the same Facebook recording and trying to clarify. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, I got my own money, but it was not for their purpose. It was not to us, the speaker, or to prevent Kufuor from becoming speaker." So you are right. There's a pattern there. There are several patterns of attempted bribery, and now this just gotten worse only because it has to do with a big position like the speakership. And Kufuor is a lawyer. He's not just going to go down easy without fighting.
And he talked about having the evidence and so forth, and he'll present his evidence.
So if there are sanctions to come, there's going to be a problem for a lot of our people. Let us not forget, and I'm just saying this for a Liberian people in general, when these things are happening, it passed up the profile of our country diplomatically. Our profile passed up. Many people got more to say negative about our country. So even if you are not a politician, once you say you are a Liberian, and the people know you got about 10 or 15 Liberians on U.S. sanction for corruption, for the kind of thing, money issue. And not just that, we got Liberians in the states who have been in some major criminal activities that the federal government have been pursuing, from the Cassell former presidential candidate to the other lady in Georgia there. Her name just slipped my mind, who went into the COVID money fraud issue, who currently in jail. And now we got Stanton Witherspoon also with the fraudulent wire fraud, money fraud. So we got too many things coming up on Liberia, and our profile, I mean, it's increasing. Now that people even want to look at you, they look at you two times. Like we used to look at the Nigerians when they mention Nigerian, you look at it, the first thing that comes to mind is that Nigerians are crook. Now the same thing happening to Liberian now. You can be a decent Liberian, you go anywhere now, by the time they say, oh, you're Liberian, everybody's thinking two times, oh, your guys are corrupt.
Right. You know? So and that image has to change.
Yeah, we need to be careful. The guys need to be, they're doing more harm to us. Now, before I leave this subject, it's been rumored that even though Representative Darrell Dillon is the Senate, is the chair on the Senate Committee for Foreign Affairs, and the embassy could not deny him visa for the last trip that President Boubacar made to the UN because of his position in the house and his role. They restricted his visa. He couldn't come to his house. He bought here.
Yeah, because the United Nations, the property of the United Nations in New York is an international entity. So you could come to the United Nations and remain within the perimeters of the United Nations without going to the United States, other places in the United States. You see that technical aspect?
Right.
So in spite of the fact you can, but you cannot go to other places because you are sanctioned. You are limited. I think that's what happened to him.
Wow. All right. So you're listening to The Melting Pot. This is where we discuss matters trending in Liberia. And there are a couple of issues that we are following today on that's developing in Liberia. We are expecting a drama tomorrow, or we should be praying for peace tomorrow at the legislature, where Fonante Kofa, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who has the official gavel, is saying that he's going to compel absentee members to show up to work so that they can do the people's work. But at the same time, the guys who do not have the numbers to remove Fonante Kofa, that requires 49 votes, are saying even though they are 38, between 38 to 42, they'll still have the right, because they're plenty. They ain't going to work. They will go sit down somewhere and have their own meeting, and they are telling Deputy Speaker Fala to come to their side and chair the meeting. So we are looking to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Let us pray for our country, Liberia, and pray that there will not be chaos at the Capitol building tomorrow. At the same time, the U.S. government, our partner that we normally look to help us when we're in confusion, they are saying, well, our hand not inside for now, you do your thing. We got 50 years, you can solve your own problem. But this is the same people who President we have a bouncing ball with and shooting basket, and they were laughing, shaking hands, and McCarthy was in the next day telling them, say, we finished sanctioning 3 of your government officials. So Bassa men call it slow. You know, the guy a rat in Liberia that they can eat on your feet, right? At your heel. Right. They can eat on your feet at your heel below your toes. So what a rat can do, the Bassa men call the rat slow. The rat can eat on your foot, then when you want to shake, then it blow breeze there. And then you go back to sleep.
Yeah. You don't feel it until you. So by the time you come to yourself, your part of your foot is gone.
Yeah. So the slow rat eating, under the first month, I said inside, they doing nothing. Well, we believe them for now. We leave it like that, and then it takes us to our next conversation. You remember, Thomas? You remember we talked about the allegations of corruption at the gender ministry, where the budget director, K-A-Y-E, the director for the budget department called Director K-A-Y-E. He said that the deputy director, Cooper, and others have been spending some money illegally. And for that reason, he resigned. We had a conversation here asking him and asking the president and the general minister to not allow this guy to resign, because that's what we need. We need people who will be in the system and that will call, blow whistle when there is wrong going on there. So
Right.
the deputy general minister, Mr. Cooper, came up today and he broke silence, trying to clear the air. He said all of that is a lie. What do we say there? But he really didn't bring any valid
Evidence.
proof to disassociate himself from that. But could the minister have called for an investigation, or is it enough that a deputy minister come and say everything the budget guy say about me not lie, and then we just forget about it and move on?
No, I mean there has to be an official report made based on an investigation, because the issue has come in the public glare. So we need a report that authenticates whatever the man said is a lie. The report has to establish that indeed what he was accused of did not happen. So it has to be an independent report that the public can have confidence in. Otherwise, it'll be you say, I say. I don't think we should be at that level. Okay.
So
that's where the media comes in. I don't know how effective the investigation is. Has there been any independent media investigation on this matter? Do they have any facts?
Well, I think everything is centered around allegation at this time. From Africa are trying to gain more information, because the guy, what is his name, K, is spilling the beans. But at the same time, you need an official investigation to substantiate the claims. So I'm thinking, should the Internal Audit Agency institute, because that's one of the responsibilities, institute an investigation. The Internal Audit Agency, the IAA, could institute an investigation. Why are they not doing that? Why are they not saying something? Or the LACC also could initiate or it is the LACC hands full.
In fact, that should trigger their involvement, where there are information going, a suspicion of embezzlement, suspicion of malpractices. That's when they should come in and investigate and put the issue to rest. It appears to me that they may not be that actively pursuing cases to investigate. If they are short of manpower, they should let it be known. But this is an issue that is worth looking in.
Especially in an environment where you say it is no longer business as usual.
Right.
On the mantra of transparency and accountability. And as we speak, Thomas, as we have this conversation right now, there's a guy called Daniel sitting on Spoon Network, Spoon Live Television, and he's also spilling the bean on the LRRC that they corrupted the monies from that was given to them to respond to the plight of the returnees from Ghana. And that majority of the papers that they sign on for money are ghosts. So what's happening here? And why is President Barker not, saying, making some strong statements or taking some strong actions? Because there are more, and then we got the Liberia Water and Civil Honor allegation as well. We got the Transport Ministry Honor allegation as well. So, why is the president not taking this as corruption and the public enemy number one?
The presidency came into being with the emphasis on eradicating corruption. And all of these issues should trigger action from him or his lieutenants to put them to rest. But the slow pace at which they're going presupposes that there's something lacking within the operation of the presidency. There's a need for an active involvement of the Anti-Corruption Bureau into all of these things, if it's not well equipped to handle the cases, because there are multiplicity of issues now, cases going on. We're hearing in the news on the various platforms. So I don't know what's going to trigger the president's action, but the need for him to act decisively is important.
Yeah, it's important. Let me just emphasize what you're saying a little bit by adding this spin to it. Look, you see, leadership has to do with timely decision making. Timely decision making. Because when your decision is not timely, like we're saying now, you're going to have people taking advantage of the slow pace that you're working on, you're working with. And then because they feel Grace Pitt did it, nothing happened, right? Mama Benedict did it, nothing happened, right? Jake Kabakori did it, Agnokai, nothing happened, right? The party chairman did it, nothing happened, right? You're going to LWSC, you're going to Transport Ministry, now we got LRRC, now we got Ministry of Gender, now we got LTA the other day in the news as well. By the time these things compile, they become overwhelming. The question now becomes, where do you start?
I mean, he should empower his lieutenants that are in charge of investigating these issues to step up, because it's a crisis of confidence now. We have all of these issues. It appears as though that he may not be able to handle the weight of the office due to the slow pace we are seeing, due to the chaos we are seeing in the various departments, in the various areas. So he should recalibrate.
All right, he should recalibrate. Now, I want to give us more time on the next topic, which is our last topic, but I want to put it in quick enough so we'll have at least 25 minutes to have this conversation, because it is your passion. It is also my passion. President Boyka at UL PhD launch, Student Unification Party SUP resist President Boyka's presence at UL. What does this say for the president and the plight of education in our country? Is this a good sign just 10 months into the presidency of President Boyka, that the students at the University of Liberia are now resisting his presence there, even though what he went to do there seemed to have been something good? What does this say to our education system?
But the first question that comes to mind: what are the grievances of the students? What were they resisting? What?
When you look at the students' plight, all of what they're seeing is the neglect of the University of Liberia.
I would agree that neglect is glaring. All right. To my mind, the first order of business could have been to fix the university, to give it a facelift, to provide those things that are lacking within the undergraduate part of the university. Repair the buildings, pay the teachers, get quality teachers, provide transportation for the students, and if at all the previous administration's policy on free education is no longer supported, it should be supported, because it's something that really encouraged people at the undergrad level to access university education. Take care of all of these little things before you try to elevate. Do we need a PhD degrees right now at the university when you do not have the facilities needed, when you do not have the quality of teachers needed to really school the students in a way that they become class high standard students? Okay, so the students have SUP has legitimate gripe. It's always been their modus of operation to verbalize their disagreement with the visitors to the university when their issues are not being addressed. So I don't know what the president rationale is and the university rationale is for elevating the university to granting PhDs. But absent these things that I mentioned early, I think it may not have been timely to start a PhD program at a university now with all the glaring needs before us.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, Dr. Dekie.
Thank you, thank you. I apologize. I just came from work and
Listen, you got to do the rounds. You got to do the rounds. You got to do the hustle.
I get you. Yeah.
So
Well, anyway.
we give you free hand to catch up. Catch up as much as you want to catch up, and then you can land on President Boycott. That's where we are right now. We got about like 20 minutes left for the show.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, it's interesting. Today, I was just sitting and I saw the message coming and I heard that, Liberia today, the University of Liberia, my alma mater, they launched a PhD program. And it's interesting because in the United States, to have a PhD, you have to have 3 doctorates to work with a candidate, a student. That is, you have to have a chairperson. I mean, after you have completed all of your courses in the classroom now. I'm not talking about where, the theoretical part where you're going to be in the classroom and completing all your 800 or 900 level courses. But after you have completed that, you need 4 persons, technically. You're going to work with 3. And the 3 people, there will be 1, your chairperson. If it's a lady, if it's a male, it will be a chairman. You're going to have your content expert. You're going to have your methodologist. So those are 3 PhD holders just for 1 single student. They have to work with that student so that they can get that person's dissertation approved. It's a process. We had different approval stages. So my question that came to my mind is that how many PhD holders are like the University of Liberia, really have? That, for instance, you're going to have 10 students. You're going to have three persons that make up a committee working with each student. So what is going to happen? Either they bring people from outside from another country, or they're going to have a university from somewhere that is going to run this program, or what I just don't understand. You see, rushing to do things is not a proper thing. The last time I told the college in my county, in Picano City, Grand Bassa County, I said, for you guys rushing to change the college to a university is improper. It is not true. It's illegal. They went through the house. They push it. Today it's a university. You have a university, but you don't have competent teachers. You don't have competent professors. So the quality of instructions will not be given to the student. It is a predicament. So that's why the University of Liberia is going to have this kind of serious problem. And I can tell you that I don't think any country will accept that degree, though. I know for America, I don't want to mention America. America wouldn't even want to recognize a PhD from Liberia because looking at the standards. So, I wouldn't just want to criticize them. I want to see what they got to bring forward. Because if you even establishing the PhD program, there are formalities, there are policies, there are procedures that you have to use. Who are the instructors? Who are the committees that are going to be handling these PhD students? They're talking about education. Is it PhD in education or EDD? I don't understand what they're trying to. So you see, I'm still confused about the program. Is it PhD in education? It is a EDD program or is a PhD program? They need to clarify this thing because one, PhD is different from EDD when it comes to research. One is in-depth research and one is concept and analysis. So what are they really doing? Is it an EDD program, or is a PhD program? Because PhD, you're going to be doing in-depth research. You're going above concept. So education, when they say PhD in education, I'm a little confused because my institution doesn't offer PhD in education. They offer EDD, which is a doctorate of education. So I don't understand what they're doing in Liberia. So maybe some of you can explain to me. I'm still wondering, launching on the PhD program, what are they going to offer? What the program going to look like? Or it's just a pedestal for our government again to gain notoriety, coming out and say, yeah, Liberia offering PhD program. I mean, this is a slap in our faces, man, who graduated from the University of Liberia. I think this is something that we have to do in a unique form. Sit down. I don't know what's the research. I don't know. Do you guys have any access to the research that have been done that led to the establishment of this PhD program? I'm still asking questions, Dr. Pearson. Maybe you can get me, unpack what is going on in Liberia.
Well, I wouldn't say that there's much to be desired to understand what the content of the program is. But I think it will be available on the University of Liberia website, because I know for a fact that all of our colleges at the UL is currently on the UL official website. So we probably might want to go there and see what the contents for that PhD program will be, and what the different field that they probably might be offering, or career areas they might be offering PhD in. When it comes to education, whether they want to have a doctorate in education, I can see that being possible considering the level of programs we've had in Liberia when it comes to education, from the different technical training programs to LACOSEL to UL. They do have some strong academic program going on there that they think is strong, that could graduate to the level of that program, PhD. But I think we need to look at the content. I think, like you said, I think the environment, the learning environment, is my own major concern, because the quality of the education is just not in the instructing; it's in the environment that you create for study to happen. All right. So, say, do we have proper library for? I mean, for standard that's research, for quality research to happen. Not only of that, do we have quality instructional materials? Do the students have access to textbooks and those things that will that will give value to their studies? And I think I know for a fact that some of these institutions, including the recent law school that they just opened in Liberia, which is our second law school in Liberia right now, they are making use of online libraries. From some prestigious programs and universities, they make that link to online libraries. But the problem with that is the access to internet for the most part of our country, the economic capacity of our people to be able to access, volumes of data of info, volumes of data related information that will support their studies. Electricity is also another problem. So, say I may have current, but how stable is my current? If I have generator, how much fuel can I put in it to sustain my study? All those things are factor. How many people can afford generator, or to even fuel the generator if they have it? So these are all the challenges that are out there. But I turn it over to Thomas.
Yeah, okay. Now, I just wanted to provide some historical facts before Reverend Thomas come in. When I was serving as the executive director for the Association of Liberian University, at that time I was the dean at the master's program at EMU University and the associate dean at Stars College, now Stars University. We had this discussion at the University of Liberia in the president office. At that time was that the late Emmett Dennis.
Yeah.
We brought a university from India called it Ramai University. And they engaged the University of Liberia. We had the University of Liberia, Continental University, because at that time, I was the director for all the universities in the country. They used to pay their dues, and I was taking care of that institution. Let me tell you what happened, why it didn't succeed at that time. When the institution said that Liberia was not equipped, the University of Liberia was not equipped. So they agreed to run the program. But at some point in time in the program, the students will have to leave from Liberia and go to India for completion.
Wow.
And that's where I'm telling you, I got the meetings, I got the documentation to that effect. When we saw that idea, Continental said, okay, I mean, when we engaged in school, Continent agreed to provide a facility. Salam Mary agreed. The Universal Library agreed. Now we came to the cost of the program. That's where the problem started from. So some people say, well, the costs were not affordable. You know, I don't want to bore you with all these different information, but it was during former President Ellen Johnson's time. The program didn't go anywhere. We didn't succeed. And today we're seeing that they have launched a PhD program in Liberia. I don't know whether I should stand to celebrate. I don't know how to even start it, but that the PSC, this is a shame on every one of us Liberians. You know, this is not something that we should celebrate. Where are we heading? So that the Reverend Thomas, you can come in, please.
Yeah, Dr. Diega, given your experiences working with the university, I see a multiplicity of universities. Not every religious institution is not establishing a university. And yet, we see a country that is underdeveloped. One precept will presuppose that with multiplicity of the university, that would really translate into development and improvement in the country. The question that keeps coming to my mind is, what is the motivation of establishing all of these institutions when they are not having impact on the social, economic, and infrastructure development of the country? Is it just for the profit motivation, or what's driving the breadth of all of these institutions that appears to be not to producing people that are impacting anything much in the country? Have any studies been done to correlate the rising of higher learning institutions to development in the country?
Those are good questions. And now we got like 10 minutes left. So my question to us now on this platform, the melting pot, where we discuss issues relating to Liberia, trending issues, and provide opinions and recommendations and analysis. My question to us now, before we close this program in the next 5 minutes or so, we already have this college launched, the PhD program launched. What can we do to improve it? What can we do? Even it's in our hands, and that's what we have. That's what we have right now. What can we do?
But Dr. Pearson, yesterday I told you Liberians, we are noted for solving yesterday's problem. We are not noted for solving tomorrow's problem. Now, anything you don't do today that is going to affect the future is a waste of time. 1986, we fixed a constitution that only favor us. We were biased in our articles. Today it is affecting us. We never knew that Liberians were going to get out of this country, go to other countries, and we were attempting to take their citizenship because we didn't do it properly. Today, we are opening a university, and we are not doing it properly. It's going to affect us. We have to do it in a proper way. What it could do, I could recommend, is to build the human resource capacity of the university. Train, if you want to open that kind of program, train your instructor, build a faculty. You have Liberians that in different parts of the world that are competent, that are piercing. Do you think, let me use you as an example, the Universal Library sent for you and said, look, I want you to come. I used to teach at the master's program at Universal Library, Advanced Education Psychology. Do you know how much they were paying me? They were paying me peanut change. And I have to leave it because it couldn't sustain me. So how can you add value to the institution? We got to ask all these questions. Do you have money to pay your faculty? Because in order to sustain quality, you have to spend money. So, I mean, this is not, we shouldn't do this thing and then tomorrow again we'll get back on the table and people say, let's just start it. I mean, it's not about just starting it to get notoriety. That what happened now at the Grand Bassa University, they don't have a board of trustee, and you're establishing a college and transforming it to a university. Who makes the decision? The board of trustee has to form a quorum and vote upon the decision. So you see, things are just not done correctly in Liberia. So you are telling us here today that, okay, since the college is formed, how can we improve it? We can give the best decision, Dr. Pearson. It won't just get better. I'm telling you. The only thing we can do now is to criticize it, is to stop it. Let us do it properly. Education is not like any other thing. You can guess. It's not a try and error business. It has to be exact. You have to be factual. It has to be correct. So what you're doing there is a mistake.
In 60 seconds, the guys will argue with us that the melting pot having this conversation, they're criticizing it when it was not there. They say, oh, we got it. Now we got it. They say, oh, in good. But they will say, well, the people who running this thing, they came from America, or they're going to get support from America or other places. It's going to come from outside, so it's going to be good. It's going to be better. Even though the one we already had there is not good, but this one they bring in now, sitting now amongst the bad one, will be the good one amongst the bad one. What do you think about that? How do you come to the argument?
Doc, this is a thought I have before we addressed what you just asked. I believe educational institutions should be established to meet specific needs within a given environment. Example, the illiteracy rate in Liberia was very high, and therefore the need to establish teacher training institutions. And those teacher training institutions produce people that were deployed throughout the country, in every county. So you produce teachers, you send them to Bassa, Lofa, Nimba County. When they went there, you already had us an established building, the structure available where these teachers worked to develop, to educate the citizens within that area. So the need for to solve that illiteracy problem was addressed constantly.
Yeah, 1 minute.
What are the needs in Liberia that require experts in, say, for instance, health science? Is it targeting this need? If at all, is targeting a specific need that the nation wants to address, then it's a good idea.
So, I mean, you're referring to KRTTI, ZRTTI,
ZRTTI, and so forth. Oh, okay. Because the nation, Mr. Tolbert, had this idea of integrated rural development. We want to build rural centers, where educational center, where we put health facilities, administrative structures, and so forth. But then the needs of education was being met. You produce effective teachers that go in the location to provide the education. So now the question I'm asking on the PhD level, what are the needs we have that required a PhD? Is it in the area of health care that we want to address, so that we localize everything? We no longer want to go abroad to access this health care. Therefore, we're producing our own experts. Is that a need we're trying to address?
So healthcare, we got Dr. College of Health Sciences, AME Dr. College of Health Sciences. From University of Liberia, go to AME Dr. College. So that is
so from the University of Liberia, you go and I mean that the Pearson. You see, I still want to learn about this whole program, how they intend to go about with it.
So you want us to take on this alone on Monday? Just go researching and come and do.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a website, I want to evaluate the program. That the Pearson. I'm interested. I'm interested in, because this is what I'm specializing in research. So I'm interested in knowing what sort of research that have been conducted over the years, because you're not just going to jump out of your sleep and say you want to establish a PhD program.
I know. I'm not going to run out of time. I might want to, in Liberia and Highland, I do still have a very active NGO, big NGO, Liberian owned and run. And I remember when Mother Parton, my good friend, Sister Barbara, needed to improve her sociology department, she brought somebody from the United States here to go and do her content development for the curriculum. And the content assessment for their curriculum. And that's expert how to went from NGO to NGO for the social sciences section. Even came to my NGO because I was serving as one of the places that would send their students for internship. And we had a lengthy conversation on what the content should be for the curriculum. So I would have thought by now, you, myself, and other of us who are interested in education would have had so much information on this program.
It should be available.
It would have been more visible. It would have been more visible, correct?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, the people are so afraid to even share information with some of their brightest brains out of the country. Like for instance, in America, if a university want to do some institution, they will try to forecast, they will gather information, they will research the issues, want to make sure they can have enough data to make decisions. But it doesn't happen like that in Liberia. Everybody afraid to lose their position. Like, oh yeah, well, I'm not going to tell this man this information. I mean, information has to be shared. They have to tell us how they're going to run this program. You have established it. So, like Grand Bachelor County now, they established the college, but they're still looking for people to come and teach the bachelor program. So even though they established the university, but they all for associate. So then gradually they start getting teachers. And so maybe that's the same thing they're doing at University of Liberia.
Why are you talking about teachers when they preach to the college? Already finished almost 49. The bridge that you got to cross to get to the Grand Bachelor College.
Liberians, we are not serious people. I'm sorry to say, we need to get serious. We need to get serious and Ryan. So maybe they establish a PhD program. I don't know whether that EDD or that PhD, because if that PhD, that's a different thing.
Let research it. Let research
it. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, let's get information. Let's get in contact with them. Let them tell us,
So Monday we'll go through this, but quick, because we got to go quickly. Let us close this. What do we think is going to happen in the legislature tomorrow? And then anything else you want to add to it, you can add, and then we'll close for tonight.
The drama continues. I mean, what his name, Speaker Kofa, Fonati Kofa says that he's still the speaker, no matter what happened. And Yeri said you have another group of people saying, no, we don't want you. He said, well, legitimately, I am the speaker. So who are the victims? The Liberian people. What's going to happen tomorrow is another drama. They're going to fight among themselves, because they're getting paid to fight. So they're going to keep fighting among themselves. The Liberian people will be the one who are victimized by their action, But, some of these things actually is necessary. They are necessary. So the voters can experience. And when people can say, oh, Liberia is so hard. I say, but it's good that you experience some of these things. Then when you go to the ballot, like for instance, the United States election are going on. The citizens now know exactly how they should vote and who they should vote for. So now, looking at all these situations, we're going to see 2029, whether they're going to get on the street and be celebrating again for T-shirts and bags, all right? Because right now, when you call somebody from Liberia, the first thing they tell you is, I have not eaten you. When you tell them the code, they can call themselves by code now, 000. So they tell you they don't eat in the morning, they don't eat in the afternoon, they don't eat in the evening or in the night, So I mean, people are experiencing, people learn from experience. So Liberians are learning a whole lot, and they're going to make good decisions in the future now, because the decision affects you. You see, the decision they made 2023 is affecting them now. So the decision they're going to make in 2029 will affect them further. So, it's just how you teach a baby that you have to stand up first, or you have to crawl before you stand and you walk. Liberians are learning. So it's good that some of this drama take place so that the bad people, they can leave the scene so that the good people can come. But at the same time, the victims, they are learning from the process. So, it's not that we try to mock at people, but it's good to have good experience. And all of this is part of the process. But tomorrow, there's going to be a huge drama. People are going to fight among themselves. It's common. I mean, people have been fighting at the legislature, so it's not a new thing. I mean, happy anywhere. So yeah, they're going to fight. Display money. People trying to prove the supremacy over another person. Yeah. So the drama continues.
Reverend Thomas.
Well, this is a challenge to Mr. The speaker's leadership capabilities. Uh, the question is he going to be able to influence decisions tomorrow by winning others over from the majority bloc to his side? He said during his interview that he's going to exert all necessary things that are needed to bring about reconciliation and peace. So it challenges his leadership style, and in whose interest are these people working? Is that the Liberian people interest or their personal interest? If the interest of the Liberian people is at the center of the operation, then they should make decisions that are in conformity with the rules established. That is, folks should be able to meet in the chambers and put their grievances on the floor to be voted on, so that it will be established whether they have the 49 needed to remove a speaker. If they don't, then the speaker remains a speaker. There will be a lot of drama, but ultimately, the Liberian people's interest must be the overriding concern of everyone.
The Liberian people's interest must be the overriding. So this is my guess, right? I'm going to predict. Dr. Deke said there's going to be drama. Reverend Thomas is hoping that level-headed will prevail. Level-headedness will prevail. People use the Liberian people first. And I'm predicting that Speaker Kofi is going to have a quorum tomorrow to do his business as he will normally run his business as a speaker. And he will get this 37 and maybe a little over the 37 to do his work. Well, these are three predictions. How it's going to fall, we don't know. Let it fall, the chips fall where they may. This has been the melting pot where we come and discuss trending issues in Liberia. And we discuss and provide analysis. And we look to see that where level-headed can find reason, we move our country forward. We are appealing to you, please do not leave for now. And then let us play that song that says, how do you call it again? Crime Stopper.
Yep.
So wherever you are in Liberia, please check your doors, check your windows, make sure they are locked. And listen, please check that doors, check that windows, make sure they are locked, and be safe. Many places in every community, you know, you can see. So if you see crime, hold it. Don't tell her in your hand for the red authority. Let it come take your lucky. Don't stop right here for us. When you set up to your door, whether you wish or you broke. If you see a you not talking, I mean, check. Whoever said it, if you see it, don't keep it. I'm about to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing shelter to your door. Crime Stopper, stop it and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to the interior. Crime Stopper, keep me assembly from for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing shelter to your door. Crime Stopper, stop it and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to the interior. Keep me assembly from for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own self-open woman sign. Crime Stopper, the people bringing shelter to your